Hey guys, so it appears that I'm coming back and I'm going to do a video every single day. No, actually today's video was inspired because I made a mistake in yesterday's video. If you watched it all the way to the end, there was something that I talked about and there was some incorrect information in there. And so I wanted to clarify that, but then I'm not just going to come on here and talk about that. I have some other things I want to talk about too, makeup related and non-makeup related things. Anyway, let's go back to what I started off by talking about. In yesterday's video, I had said that I read some information about YouTube on somebody's Instagram account. Well, it turns out that they made a mistake. They twisted that information, I'm sure by accident, just enough that it's off the mark. So I researched it, found out what the correct information is from the source, YouTube, and I just wanted to clarify that YouTube does have some new criteria for people who make videos that get paid. I'm a YouTube partner, have been one for many years now, and I'm not exactly sure what the criteria was back then, but more importantly, what the criteria is now is if you make YouTube videos and you get paid, you must meet this new criteria or you will no longer, your videos will not be monetized anymore. Now, most of you, this doesn't even apply to you, so I'm just going to make this really brief. I'm just trying to correct the information that I gave yesterday. So the new criteria is that you must have 1,000 subscribers, and the other thing is that you have to have 4,000 watch hours in the past 12 months. Now that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. I mean, when I'm making videos 5 out of 7 days a week, I can get 4,000 watch hours in a month. So getting 4,000 watch hours in a year is not really a big deal, and I think it's possible and definitely achievable by anyone who makes videos. So this person that posted that information, they made it sound like you had to get 4,000 views in a month. That's not as easy as 4,000 watch hours in a year. Big difference. So anyways, I definitely meet this criteria, so I'm not in any danger of losing the monetization of my channel or my YouTube partnership. Yeah, I've been in that program for years. And back then, I think it was also 1,000 subscribers you had to get back then. So I don't think that has changed, because I remember really being psyched up about reaching that 1,000 mark. And as soon as I hit it, I applied for the partnership. But yeah, okay, so just wanted to correct that. And then also want to talk just a little bit about the makeup today. Complete opposite of yesterday's makeup. Yesterday's makeup was that peachy pink type shade that I had incorporated with the taupe eyes. So today is a very purpley, all kinds of different purple shades going on here. So since I mentioned in yesterday's video about the highlight that my friend June had given me, I figured I would also show you one other thing that she had sent me. And like I mentioned in yesterday's video, she lives in Ireland, so her access to makeup is completely different than mine, because she can, you know, get a lot of the European brands that we don't have here. Well, the Catrice highlighter that I showed in yesterday's video, we do have Catrice here at Ulta, but we just don't have the full line. So that's why she was able to get that highlighter and I would not have had access to that. So I wanted to show you something else that she sent me that is not available here in the United States. The brand is called Note Professional Eyeshadow, and this is, it says made in Italy, so I'm assuming that it's an Italian brand. I know that that's not a natural assumption to make, or it isn't carved in stone, because sometimes companies will make their product in another country. Like, for example, I think Wet n Wild is made in China. Let me just double check before I say it. Yeah, Wet n Wild is made in China. That doesn't make them a Chinese brand. It just makes them an American brand that makes their product in another country. So this does say made in Italy, but that doesn't make it Italian. But I don't know. I think I did research this, and I think that it was. Not positive. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to show you this because it's something that you may not be familiar with, and if you live in Europe, which I know I do have European subscribers, you might have access to this. So the color, or the name of this palette, that's funny. It just says Note Professional Eyeshadow 5 Colors Palette 102. It's the name of the palette. Don't you hate that when they don't give it a name? It's just a number. Inglot does that too. And I wish they would give their products names. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to show you this is because the eyeshadow formula is really different than, I mean, I have a huge eyeshadow collection. I probably have more eyeshadow than anything else. As a matter of fact, I know I do, because I just recently went through my collection. And yeah, these shadows are the strangest formula, but not strange in a bad way, but strange in a good way. And I think it's also interesting, the color scheme here, because they have this super, super light lilac shade. And I have that as my brow bone highlight and inner corner highlight today. And then this shade, this is my favorite in the palette. That is what I have on my lids. And it's just, oh, so beautiful. I love purples that have a little bit of a blue tint to them that are on the cooler side, because it goes better with my blue eyes. Now, these two shades here have a little bit of warmth to them. And I have this shade in the crease and in the outer part of my lids, and I also dragged it along the lower lash line. And normally I would not put anything that had any warmth to it with such a cool color as this, but I feel like it works. I feel like those two colors can go together even though their tones are not the same. And then this is pretty much like a deeper shade of this with maybe a little bit of lightness thrown in. And then this is just a dark, I'd say cool-ish purple, but pretty neutral actually. No, or is it cool to neutral, we'll say. But yeah, the texture on these is really, really unique. With light, crazy light purple eyeshadows, usually they're extremely dusty and chalky, and this one in the palette is very smooth and pigmented. I mean, I just very lightly swirled my finger in there, and look at how saturated the pigment is. As a matter of fact, when you dip your brush in the palette, you have to be careful not to swirl the brush too much or dig too deep, because it's so pigmented that you just need the tiniest little bit. Yeah, it's like creamy. There it is right there. I know that is a little difficult to see, but it's no fault of the shadow. It's just, you know, it's kind of similar to my skin tone there. But yeah, these are very nice, and it's got a long but kind of narrow mirror in there. All right, this is the second one. This is the blue toned one that I have on my lids. But just so creamy. But it is a powder eyeshadow, but it seems to have a lot of, I don't know if it has oil or what it has in it, but just really, really nice for someone like me that is older. When you're older, you know, your skin gets drier and sometimes it's a little more difficult to work with eyeshadows. By the way, I just wanted to mention that I haven't really been using a traditional eyeshadow base lately. I used to always use MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, but I had to purge that because of its age. So I have plenty of eyeshadow primers, but what I've been doing is taking either a little bit of my foundation or a little bit of my concealer, and just when I'm doing my makeup, if like sometimes I'm doing my foundation and then I just put a little bit across the eye area, or if I'm doing the concealer, do the same thing, or sometimes a little of both. And I've just been doing that, and it's been working out fine. I don't really feel like I have to use a specific product just for an eyeshadow base. So if you've never tried that, give it a shot. It covers up, you know, any discoloration you have really well and blends easily. And yeah, so you don't really need a special product for an eyeshadow primer unless you have super oily eyelids, which I do not. You know, my skin is normal to dry, so that does make a difference. So let's see. I showed you, I think, the first two. So let's watch the middle one. So there's the third one. So now you see how it has a little bit of warmth to it. Not a ton, but enough that the tone leans a little more warm than it does cool, I think. I can see a little bit of redness or pink in there. Okay, and then the fourth one looks like that. But yeah, these are so creamy. So that's the fourth one. And then the last one is that really deep, deep, crazy dark shadow. I suppose you could use that for a liner, but I don't know, it's pretty intense. Or if you wanted to do a really, really dark purple smoky eye, you could put that in the outer corner. Depends, of course, on your skin tone and whatnot, you know. But I would have to be really careful to use a shadow that dark and have it not look crazy. So, I also wanted to mention some things about a couple other products that I have on today, just so that, you know, I know, sorry about the crinkly mess, I'm trying to get a wipe out of here. I know some people read the description box, and so just to clarify that information that will be in the description box, my blush today, which you almost can't even see because of the color, this was a limited edition release from Wet n Wild during the Halloween season this year. And so I used this lilac shade. So that's why you can't really see it that well, but it coordinates, I think, nice with the eyeshadows. So that's why I use that. But I don't really like using discontinued products on my channel, but at the same time, if I have makeup, I don't want to not use it just because I happen to be filming a video that day. And my highlighter shade, which you also can't really see too well, it's very subtle, but it coordinates perfectly with that blush. This is the Too Faced Filt'r, No Filter Selfie Light Filtering Photo Enhancing Powders. And I used the purple shade, which is called Moon River. So I used that as my highlight with that lilac blush. So I figured I would throw that out there too. So honestly, I don't know when you will be seeing me again. I don't want to go back to making videos every single day. Just truth and honesty here. I've been still reading a lot. I finished that book that I did the video about, Ready Player One, and then I read that author's other book called Armada after that. Different feel to that book. I did like it, but it just was, the theme on it was just different. I don't know. There were similarities but differences, but I liked both books a lot. And then I just finished reading a book on, I guess you'd call it a nutrition book or a diet book. I have gained weight over the course of the last year or so, and I need to really stop that in its tracks now, because the thing with weight gain is it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it creeps up on you a little bit at a time, and the next thing you know, your pants don't fit anymore. Well, my pants still fit, but they're getting a little snug. So yeah, I don't want to do that, because with weight gain, a lot of times comes health problems. I really feel like there is a direct correlation between your weight and your overall health. Things like blood pressure and cholesterol and all that starts to go, those numbers start to go up when your weight goes up. So I don't want to have to go on medication or anything like that. So I would rather just lose some weight. This is a good time of year to be doing it too, because then by the time the warm weather comes, the weight will be gone. I'm sure it'll even be gone before that, because I only need to lose 13 pounds, which, you know, it's not a tiny amount, but it's not a huge amount either. It's like somewhere in between. So I've been doing a lot of research about diets and health and nutrition, and I think I'm just going to go back on a diet that has always worked well for me, and that's a low carb, high fat diet. And there are tons of them out there. Ketogenic, paleo, Atkins. Oh my God, there's so many of them now that all kind of fall into that category. But that's what has worked for me in the past. I don't think I want to eat that kind of diet my whole life, because I get a little concerned about the amount of fat and how safe that is, but it definitely works. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just trying to eat up some of the food that I still have in the house that I bought before I made this decision. And the, you know, things that got me into trouble in the first place. With me, sugar is the enemy. I cannot eat sugar at all, really. It just puts the weight on me like crazy. And if you've ever read any of these books about low carb diets, they talk about that in the books, and how sugar just plays havoc with your weight and retaining the calories that you put in your body. When you cut out the sugar, it just makes it so much easier to lose weight. And another reason why I want to do the low carb, high fat diet is because you don't get that hungry on that diet. And they don't restrict you on certain foods. So if you want to eat a lot of something, you can. And yeah, so I might come on and talk about that more if you're interested. And I can kind of maybe chart my progress with you too and let you know how it's going. Haven't started it yet. I hopefully will be starting it Saturday. I hope. I don't know. We'll see. I've got a couple more days of things that I want to just eat up. I don't waste food. I don't like to throw food away. And I don't want to make someone else eat it, you know, my husband. If I bought it and I wanted it at the time, then I should eat it. And yeah, I don't like to throw food away. Not when there's people starving in the world that don't have any food. You know, that just seems wrong. I was talking to my mother on the phone, and she's like, "Oh, just throw it away." I'm like, no, that's not right. It isn't right to me from like a moral standpoint. If something is spoiled or expired, that's one thing. But if there's nothing wrong with it, then I'm going to eat it. It's only like 2 more days worth of food anyway. All right, so that is it for today, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the nice comments on yesterday's video. And I'll see you when I see you. I have no idea when that's going to be. Bye.